Is that what you said?
Lady Brock from Venom.
Venom.
Oh.
Okay.
It does kind of.
Can you do eyes, lungs, pancreas?
Oh yeah. Eyes, lungs, pancreas.
I should have done. How did you do the demon's voice then? I didn't know you can do this.
I just
keep this in mind.
that's just a deep voice.
Well, it's good to know.
That's super cool.
Alright, how about you start off being a Vassel's wife, Natalie?
Sure. Good day to you, sir. Thank you so much for all your hard work. Yes, that's correct. This is where our slaves were when they were stolen, as I described when I reported it. What? The number of stolen slaves I gave you doesn't match the number you heard from other sources? No, I had no intention of deceiving you. I simply assumed it wouldn't be a problem because I wasn't claiming we lost more than we did. Yes, I understand. I beg your pardon. I should have reported the number correctly. I'll do so in the future, so please, if you would look the other way just this once. Why didn't I report fewer slaves were stolen? I imagine you would find that curious, yes. Why would anyone want less of their lost manpower returned to them, indeed? It's quite simple. I do not think it would be any great loss if she were not to come back. Oh no, she was a fine worker. And she didn't cause any trouble either. You want to know about the girl? I doubt it'll be of any help to your investigation, but I don't mind telling you. I warn you, it's not a terribly pleasant story, though. Very well. As you wish, sir. We purchased her when she was about 5 years old, so she's been with us for quite some time. 8, maybe 9 years now? When we bought her, she was still too young to put to work. She was in good health, though, and always had the sweetest smile on her face, so I had little doubt. Slaves tend to be so gloomy and depressing, you know. Not that I... Let's see. She was in good health, though, and always had the sweetest smile on her face, so I had little doubt she would do as she was told. Slaves tend to be so gloomy and depressing, you know. Not that I don't understand, but unlike many, we try not to mistreat our slaves. As long as they do their work, they have nothing to worry about. The best slaves, I think, are the ones who aren't so dreary as to be infectious and make us feel guilty. The girl's name was Ceren, and while she talked rather funny, she was bright and cheerful as I had hoped. And she was always smiling from ear to ear. For a while, it felt like we had a brand new member of our family. I was so taken with her, I almost considered adopting her instead of keeping her as a slave. And how did I go from wanting to take her in to not caring if she didn't come back? It's rather difficult to explain, to tell you the truth. Yes, that's right. She never caused any trouble. She never stole anything, and she never refused to work. She never cried, and she never got upset. No matter what happened, she always did her work with a smile on her face. That sound like the ideal slave? Yes, you would think so. And I have no complaints regarding her work. Neither did my husband, nor our servants. I imagine I'm the only one who would be happy to never see her again. I started thinking the girl's peculiar about 2 years after we purchased her. Right around that time, one of our other slaves attempted to run away. Yes, that's right. As I said, we have never once mistreated our slaves. Other slave owners could learn a thing or two from us, I say. We tell all our slaves when we buy them that they will be set free as soon as they've worked enough to pay back what we paid for them. So, he only had 10 years, and then he would have been free. But he chose to spit in the face of our generosity, and... My apologies, I've gotten off track, haven't I? The slave who ran was captured soon after. But trying to flee is one of the greatest transgressions a slave can commit against his master. As such, It was, I'm sure you understand, necessary to punish him. But I assure you, we never mistreat. Yes, sorry, I'll continue. So as I said, he had to be punished. My husband took a length of rope and used it as a whip, I think it's called. He had all the slaves watch as he lashed the one that had tried to run. It was for their own sake. The other slaves needed to see what would happen if they attempted to flee. The lashing continued for a full day. All the slaves present reacted differently. Some averted their eyes, some cried, some looked on trembling, but it was clear they were afraid, which meant the punishment had served its purpose. For everyone except Ceren, that is. Yes, that's correct. She simply smiled. At first I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me. But every time I looked over at her, I saw the same thing. As a slave being lashed screamed out in pain, Ceren didn't even flinch. She just stood there, smiling. Just looking at her gave me the chills. My husband thought it was curious as well, but he wasn't nearly as put off as me. She was 7 at the time and a hard worker, and he said there was no issue as long as she didn't cause any trouble. But that completely misses the point, you know? She gave me the creeps. I wasn't comfortable with her around. But of course, my husband has the final say. I couldn't defy him. So, I did my best to forget that day. I couldn't get the girl out of my mind, though, no matter how hard I tried. My gaze was drawn to Ceren, and I noticed quite a bit as I observed her more carefully. Say one of the slaves hurt himself while working. You might expect another slave to ask if he's alright.
Check, check. I switched microphones. Check.
Loud and
I'm
clear.
ready. Okay. You may ask if he's alright to help patch up the wound. To volunteer to take on his responsibilities for the day. To show concern and compassion. But Ceren, she would just smile and go on her way, not a word. She was hardly perfect either. Is anyone, though? And she would make mistakes occasionally. Everyone slips up, and we try not to make a huge fuss about it because we sincerely value our slaves and the work they... my apologies. In any case, we can't simply brush such mistakes off, so we make sure to admonish them whenever something happens to ensure things run smoothly. But even as I scold her, Ceren's still smiling. As I'm sure you can imagine, it's not hard to feel as though you're being disrespected. So, once, I lost my temper and smacked her. It was only the once, though, I swear. I'm not a violent woman. I hate raising my hand to anyone. I was sure that, if nothing else, would make her cry. But still, she smiled, with half her face red and swollen. I was so perplexed I came straight out and asked her, "Why do you not cry? I just hit you. How can you keep smiling?" And she said, "Why would I cry? I'm not sad about anything." Pressing the issue further, I discovered she had evidently never felt bad for anyone in her life, including herself. Can you imagine? How terrible is that? It's not right. So I decided I needed to teach her how she was supposed to act. I taught her that when she saw someone get hurt, she needed to show sympathy. That when she was being reprimanded, she needed to show remorse and a desire to improve. Ceren listened carefully to every word I said, and before long she started putting my teachings into practice. At first I was relieved. Ceren was finally a regular girl. She showed concern, compassion, regret. But it was all an act. She acted sad when someone got hurt, and then she turned around and was smiling again. It never lasted more than a few moments. Emotions were but a flash, there and gone before you realized. It was not normal. Wasn't human. She didn't genuinely feel sympathy. Beyond the surface, she was no different than the girl who smiled as a fellow slave was being whipped before her eyes. Ceren had learned nothing. Unable to bear it anymore, I went to my husband again. I told him she was not normal. There was something wrong with her. I implored him to do something. But my pleas fell on deaf ears. She was a good worker, he said. We couldn't ask for a better slave, he said. Oh, but he couldn't have been any more wrong. He wasn't the one who had to look after her. He had no idea what she was like, how unsettling it was merely being in her presence, how deeply upsetting it was. My apologies, I'm fine now. As you can imagine, I'm not particularly fond of Ceren. So, it was a weight off my shoulders when I heard she was one of the stolen slaves. Why are you giving me that look? You think I'm the one who has the problem? You think there's nothing wrong with her, just like my husband? One look at her smile and you'd know I'm telling the truth. That she's not simply a little eccentric. There's more to it than that. I can't take it anymore. Is there no one who will understand me?
Why don't you read this, Nika?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Oh boy. Kick back for a bit, why don't you? I'm in the mood to talk. Nah, I'm not gonna charge extra. I don't bill by the hour. Oh, you never thought of me as a talkative girl. I guess that just goes to show how much I've taken to you. No, I'm not trying to butter you up, I swear. I've been thinking a lot these days about the place I last worked at. And it's not really been getting me down. I can't think of anyone I want with me at times like this more than you.
One moment. Continue.
Did something happen there? I've been waiting for that question. It's a bit of a long story. I hope you don't mind. There is a city about 10 days by carriage from here. You know, the one right at Lord Barnier's doorstep. The place I used to work was there, and every so often the Lord would summon a few of the prettiest girls to come to his manor. I'm hardly the best looking girl around, even out here, so I was never one of the chosen. But honestly, I am lucky for it. It's not the kind of thing you want to go mentioning in public, but the Lord has some unsavory hobbies. Every girl who ever came back said, "There is no amount of money you can pay me to do that again." What is? The Lord has a taste for torturing and killing his slaves. Not just if you screw up either. If he's in the mood and he so much as sees you, you could be dead. He's got a dungeon under his manor too. They say if you can hear wailing coming from down there at all times of the day, the Lord enjoys all different kinds of torture, flame, dismemberment, boiling, and water cure. I'm sure he uses others, but I've only heard bits and pieces secondhand. He only ever killed the slaves, though. The girls all came back in one piece. On the outside, at least. Being forced to watch people get brutally murdered did a real number on most of them. Some were so broken by the experience they couldn't work anymore. So, the Lord apparently hosts banquets at his manor every so often. But here's the kicker. He only invites nobles that are into that same sort of thing. He's not the only one. We're being governed by God knows how many twisted freaks. I don't even want to think about it. Anyway, something like 2 years ago, I think it was, a couple of girls come back looking a good 20 years older, and they told us about one of these banquets. Most of the time, it's just him and his noble friends torturing slaves. But this one was different. It was a girl, maybe 10 years old, chained up, naked, on this makeshift altar. But here's where it gets crazy. The girl, who they called a saint, was covered in scars, head to toe. They cut her up and filled their cups with their fresh blood. But she didn't cry. She didn't even flinch. She just sat there quietly. And when she did speak, it was to condemn them as blasphemers and sinners. Can you imagine? Chained up like that, and she's scolding her captors, telling them God will punish them for their actions. I wouldn't have the guts. Maybe she was raised at a church or something. But I am guessing that's got something to do with why they called her a saint. Oh yeah, the slave revolt was right around that time too. You hear about that? Huh. Just rumors? Well, they're not just rumors. It really happened. Because of the revolt, the girls who'd been there made it out in most decent shape. But for a while afterwards, the Lord didn't send for anyone. I'm guessing he was too preoccupied patching up the holes in his manor and finances to spend much time fooling around. Sort of change topics for a second. But about the same time, this dark-skinned girl, the kind you don't see too often around these parts, started working here. Name was Ceren. She was pretty, always had the widest smile on her face, and really, really friendly. Seemed like the kind of girl who'd drawn in a lot of business. And I was right. Within a couple of weeks, she had already packed up a few regulars, and our manager was going on about how happy he was with his purchase. About a month in, though, we started getting complaints from one of her customers. He said she was being condescending with him. I brought it up with Ceren, but she said she had no idea what he was talking about. So I assumed the customer was just imagining it, or full of it. You get guys like that all the time in this business. No, don't worry. You're not one of them. But the complaints kept coming in, which made me think maybe there was something going on. So I decided to talk things out with the guys making the complaints this time. Get a better picture of what the problem was. Most of them were pretty useless and vague, but the common issue seemed to be that her behavior didn't make sense. One guy came in after bungling a huge trade deal, hoping to find some comfort, and he spilled his guts to Ceren. But instead of trying to console him, she laughed. You can see why he wouldn't be thrilled about that. When I asked Ceren about it, she gave me a confused look and said, "I thought he was telling a funny joke." There was no malice, nothing. She genuinely didn't understand how the customer wanted her to act. Can't run a business like this without a solid customer base, so making sure everyone leaves happy is crucial to operation. Which is probably not something I would be talking about with a customer, but, well, you're special, so cut me some slack, okay? Anyway, something had to be done about Ceren. We couldn't risk more dissatisfied customers. So I figured the best thing to do was give her some training. Here's how you should react if a client brings up such and such, and here's what you should say if they're looking depressed or upset or whatever. How and when to be reactive and how and when to be proactive. Ceren was a quick study, and it wasn't long before she was putting my lessons to work. I would have been happy with just reducing the number of complaints to a more normal level, but Ceren improved so dramatically we heard nothing but praise from then on. Say, a patron was looking a little blue. She give him a big pouty face and say, "What's the matter? You can tell me anything." Oh no, that's terrible. I feel awful for you. Is there anything I can do to help? Anything at all? Just this constant stream of comfort, almost to the point of being excessive. She had gone from bright and energetic to sweet and sympathetic as well. On the surface, anyway. Every condolence she offered was completely fake. She was acting, and I knew because I was the one who had taught her how. There was nothing wrong with that, though. We're not in the business of genuine human interaction, after all. Thinking back on it now, though, I probably should have taught her what the real thing felt like, rather than just how to fake it. About a year later, the Lord started sending for girls again. We all knew he was a madman. That was common knowledge. But he paid well, and everyone always came back alive. So we reluctantly complied. But we were wrong. He did kill the girls this time. One came back alive, but she was missing an eye and a half, an arm. She was in no condition to go back to work. Even just going about her daily life would be difficult. We were aghast. But things only got worse from there. The next time the Lord sent for us, we panicked. For one, no amount of money was worth what we waited for at the Lord's manor. And two, it was impossible to run a business if your employees kept getting killed. So, we attempted to turn him away. But his messenger simply said, "The Lord will not take no for an answer." We either complied or were all executed for our treason. What little hope we had left crumbled. We were screwed either way. So, we fought among ourselves like a pack of wild animals. "I'm too ugly, you go. I have more regulars, you go. No one likes you anyway." Pure chaos. I was, of course, part of the brawl. And here's where she comes in. Ceren. Everyone's in a big mob, clawing each other's faces off, and she's just tilts her head and asks, "Why are you so afraid of the Lord?" Seeing that stupid, clueless look on her face, just about everyone in the room burst a Vassel. "All right, we'll send her," we said, and it was decided. Ceren smiled, not bothered as the slightest, gave her a cheery "See you later," and went off to the Lord's manor. To no one's surprise, she never came back. We figured she had been killed. A week or so later, the messenger showed up again asking for more girls. By this point, the manager was furious. He demanded to speak with the Lord in person, saying if something wasn't done, the whole brothel would collapse, and he'd put his life on the line to prevent that. Seeing him so resolute, I felt a newfound respect for him. I also thought he was a complete idiot, but I still respected him. After all, there was no way the Lord would be open to negotiation. That much was obvious from everything he'd done. The manager and a few assistants set off for the Lord's manor. And about 2 weeks later, he returned. Or his head did. His assistants managed to avoid death, so they were able to tell us what had happened. No one was exactly thrilled to hear more twisted tales about the Lord. But we listened anyways. And no one could have imagined what they told us. Ceren was there with the Lord, alive and well. Not only had she not been killed, he had apparently taken quite a liking in her. The manager was surprised to see her too, but he figured it was as good a chance as he would ever get. If Ceren would speak up in his favor, the Lord might actually listen to her. So, he emboldened and manager plied with the Lord, begging him not to harm the girls. And he would be able to send anyone else otherwise. And for attempting to oppose him, the Lord ordered the manager be executed. The manager, however, entreated Ceren for help. If you have a heart, Ceren, please tell the Lord not to take my life. I have people who need me. Without hesitation, Ceren nodded, saying, "You think you could maybe let him live?" That seemed a bit, disrespectful for a whore to speak to the Lord like that, but he didn't get upset with her or anything. Really had taken a liking in her, apparently. The Lord nodded and said, "I'll offer you a choice then. Ceren, you may have whichever one of the following you prefer. Either I spare this man's life, or you can have my full attention for the rest of the day." The manager and his assistants were all baffled. How was that even a decision? How was a man's life, a man who had employed her for more than a year, no less, comparable to a little attention? They were even more baffled when Ceren's reaction. She thought about it for a second, and then, blushing, she said, I want your attention." Everyone's jaws dropped. The manager about burst into tears. He begged her to reconsider, to have pity. He asked what he had ever done wrong to her. "You never did me wrong," he said. "Then why won't you have him spare me?" "I just want his attention more." "And you're willing to let me die for that?" "What's so scary about dying anyway?" Not only did she not comprehend sorrow, she seemed to be devoid of anything resembling fear as well. Which explained why she had so much trouble sympathizing with people's suffering. Why she was always smiling no matter how bad things got. Without a manager, the brothel went to hell. His son took over, but he didn't give a damn about any of the girls. All he cared about was if he had enough booze to keep himself perpetually smashed. So Figuring I had a better chance elsewhere, I left everything behind and ran, leaving my future in fate's hands. Fate was kind to me, and I managed to make it here. They come to me in my dreams sometimes, though. I still see the faces of the poor girls we've sent off to the gallows. What? Where am I again?
Awake again, are you, whore?
Who are you, sir?
Seem your memories have not fully recovered. Allow me to remind you of how you got here then.
No, wait! It's right on the tip of my brain. Unless I was at the brothel, and then I was invited to the Lord's place. I got brought to a big city. Then I was taken to the Lord's castle. The Lord called me into his room, and then you strangled me.
Indeed. Your memory has returned without problem.
I'm super duper good at remembering things. Wait. Why did you strangle me?
To test my theory.
Your theory of what?
That you're mad.
Mad about what?
Not that kind of mad. First of all, I never bring just one whore to my quarters. I brought you here because you piqued my personal curiosity.
You mean you were having orgies in here every day? Wowzers! You've got some serious stamina!
Not being alone with one person reduces the chance of an assassination attempt.
That makes sense. It's pretty tough being the Lord, huh? So what are you so curious about little old me for?
The other day, you and a handful of other whores attended to the torturing of a slave, if you recall. I made you all watch as he died. But you didn't seem affected in the slightest.
Crap, I am so sorry. Oh.
For what?
Oh, I wasn't sad enough, was I? The nice farm lady and the girls at the brothel taught me how to be sad and how to be angry. But if I'm not careful, I forget. I'm sorry for not being sad like I was supposed to.
As I said, you piqued my interest. Had you sobbed and screamed like any other whore, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Oh, what? So me not being sad wasn't bad?
That it wasn't.
Oh. No one's ever said that to me before.
I always thought you unusual, but I couldn't be certain about what you were without getting more personal. Which is why I brought you here to test that theory. You don't fear death, do you, whore?
it's not just that. I've never felt sad or scared about anything ever. I didn't even know sad or scared were things people felt at all until someone told me. But now I know all about them and how you're supposed to act when you feel them. I just don't know what they actually are.
Truly fascinating. Tell me more.
What do you want to know?
Let's see. Tell me your whole life story. Tell me everything, as far back as you remember.
Wow.
Huh?
No one's ever been this interested in me. This is super nice. Alrighty then. I'll tell you everything. Don't hesitate to conk out if you get bored. And ta-da! Here I am. What'd you think? As boring as I thought it'd be.
Hardly. That was easily the most engrossing childhood story I have ever heard.
Whoa.
Smiling as your parents are killed before your very eyes. I'm hardly one to talk, but you're one thoroughly heartless girl.
I still wish I could do that over. I really loved my mom and dad, and the nice farm lady taught me you're supposed to be sad when people you love die.
That's why you want a do-over?
Huh?
You're incapable of experiencing sorrow, no? Feigning it for the occasion won't change the fact that you don't actually feel sad about losing them.
I guess you're right. I can pretend, but I still don't know what it feels like. I don't understand why people are so afraid of death to begin with. I mean, pain isn't fun, I get that much. But, you don't let it bother you. It's not that big of a deal. Plus, once you die, you get to go to heaven. So, I don't get what there is to be afraid of.
Not everyone goes to heaven.
Oh, that's right. But still, I'm sure there are plenty of fun things to do in hell.
Fascinating. You truly are twisted to your very soul.
Oh, but I do sometimes feel disappointed.
Do tell.
Oh, like I sometimes wish I could eat my mom's supper again. And I feel left out when everyone's talking about how weird I am. Maybe sad is just like an even stronger version of that.
I get the impression your entire experience of negative emotion is fundamentally distorted, so I don't know if you can say that.
Oh.
Ceren,
Uh-huh.
would you like to remain with me?
Oh.
Normally, I send hordes back to where they came from when I'm done with them. But I'm offering you the chance to stay here with me.
Are you asking for my hand in marriage? What do I do? I went from Lord's wife in 3 seconds flat?
Fool. I would never even take a mere prostitute as a concubine.
Oh, that.
I am, however, fond of you, so I am offering you a place in my house.
Oh, so you're saying you actually want me around? Even knowing what kind of a person I really am?
You could say that, yes.
Oh, wow. No one's ever actually wanted me before.
As promised, Ceren, you have my full attention for the rest of the day.
Yay! Woohoo!
Honestly, it shouldn't surprise me anymore how twisted you are. Twisted so far, in fact. You're the most sincere and honest person in the land, to a fault. You hardly even gave that man's life a second thought. The look on his face as he died was magnificent. You are a cruel girl.
I didn't do anything wrong, no matter what you say. I didn't steal anything. I didn't kill anyone. I tried to stay out of everyone's way as much as possible.
So you actually have some concept of right and wrong? Which means you understand that I am a wicked man.
I was taught the difference, yes.
Fascinating. However, simply knowing the difference is of no use. If you don't feel the repulsion it's supposed to elicit, knowing full well that I was acting maliciously, still you selfishly chose my affection, sentencing that man to death.
That's not what No, I guess you're right. I guess I did let him die for my own selfish desires. Looks like I've still got a lot to learn.
No, you stay exactly the way you are. As I've said before, you don't need to put up a facade around me. Don't act sad if you're not sad. Don't act angry if you're not angry. Don't feign pity for someone you don't care about. Be you.
But everyone says
Your natural self neither disgusts nor disturbs me. In fact, I greatly prefer you that way. No matter how many slaves I kill and torture for my own entertainment, you never leave my side. You happily accepted me, no matter what I do. I would rather not lose that. Don't stand so far away. Sit down beside me.
Yay.
I have allowed you to stay here for a month now, and in that time, you've been a constant source of entertainment. And you've expressed no desire to leave either, despite being well aware of what kind of man I am.
The same goes for you, Barnier. You want me to stay even though I'm such a weirdo.
The difference between you and I, though, is that I kill and you do not.
I've been wondering.
What?
Why do you like killing so much?
It would seem your perception of me is slightly inaccurate. It is not the act of killing I enjoy, but the look of dread and despair on a man's face as his life is ripped away.
There is a difference?
In your mind, perhaps not.
I'd kinda like to know what it's like in your mind then. I told you my story. Maybe you could tell me more about you, Barnier? Not that I blame you. If you don't want to tell me if you don't want to tell a prostitute like me.
You're not a prostitute anymore.
I'm not? Then, what am I?
You're my property.
Oh, that sounds super nice.
So, to answer your question, I was not always the man I am today. I had several brothers, though I was the eldest. As such, I was first in the line of succession. There should have been no question as to who was the rightful heir to the house. But my father, the previous lord, wanted my brothers to succeed him instead. Without any reason to pass over me, though, he would have faced significant opposition and put the family's reputation and legitimacy at risk. I was neither infirm nor mentally challenged, but rather extremely talented, which gave my father no leverage to deny me the throne. The one thing I lacked was psychopathy. Seeing people try to butter each other up made me physically sick. It seemed to me that the last kind of behavior royalty should be engaging in. I believed that merely possessing leadership ability should be sufficient for ruling effectively. But in this world, only those who can win others' favor make it anywhere. Only those who can make themselves look good and their peers like fools. Those who can claim others' achievements as their own, who can appear to have more power than they actually do. My father and brothers forsook me, making an attempt on my life. Because they could not legitimately remove me as their rightful heir, they could only kill me if they wanted their way. I was fortunate enough to survive the attempt, but I still carry this scar today.
You mean the beacon on your back?
That's right. You're surprisingly observant. I was in danger of not just losing the lordship, but my life. I was left with 3 choices. To let them kill me, to flee and live in poverty, or to kill them first. I was born to rule, though, so in reality, I only ever had one choice. I murdered my father and all my brothers, leaving me as the only one in their line of succession. But becoming the lord did not immediately win me everyone's favor. Distant relatives crawled out of the woodwork to claim my throne as rightfully theirs. Their people demanded I satisfy their every whim and fancy. And even my attendants tried to push their own agendas. The whole affair quickly grew tiring. Dozens were clamoring for a say in matters I could easily handle myself. So I silenced them. Before long, the prodding voices had become corpses. And it was somewhere around that time I found myself intrigued by fear. Fear is a wonderful thing, an incredibly effective silencer that spreads like a plague. Sufficient application would preemptively stop everyone from interfering. Fear strips man of all his will. When it became apparent to me that one did not have to be a great leader to rule effectively, all the time I had spent in my younger days working to improve myself felt like an incredible waste. Fear became the centerpiece of my rule, and as I continued to employ it, I began to derive great pleasure from the despair it instilled in others. Men trembled at the sight of me. They bowed their heads and abandoned their dignity. They begged me to spare their lives. And what an excited sight it was every single time. Enrapturing. You were born into your madness, Ceren, but I was molded into mine.
That's neat. But Lord Barnier, would that make me a bad match for you? I'm not scared of you at all.
Man is a curious beast, you see. Once everyone feared me, I then came to seek those who did not.
You sure are hard to please.
You make it sound like I'm merely a picky child. Though, I suppose there is a little difference in your eyes. There were a number of others among the nobles who had, like me, strayed from the path, hardly a surprise, given what life is a noble is like. So I started throwing banquets, inviting those who would be interested. These parties were to serve two purposes. The first, obviously, being for my own amusement. The second, to find those with similar tastes and bring them into my circle. I found little success with the latter, however, despite my rather zealous attempts at recruitment, so I no longer waste the effort.
You weren't able to make any friends then?
No, I was not. The other nobles had no interest in getting their own hands dirty. They only wanted to watch, getting their titillation from a safe distance. Not a single one shared the same madness as me. Ceren.
Aye.
You are far better than any of them.
Oh. Well, thanks.
What are you skirming about? I thought nothing bothered you.
I am capable of getting flustered. Thank you.
There is something deeply wrong with you.
You're the only one who decided to throw that curveball, Lord Barnier.
Enough with the formalities already. You're not a whore anymore. You're allowed to use my name.
Oh, that is your name, though.
You don't know your own lord's full name, do you, Ceren?
What?
Answer the question, girl.
I am sorry.
Allow me to help. I will only say this once, so don't forget it. My name is Jean-François Barnier, firstborn son and rightful heir of the Barnier family.
Oh, I got it memorized. That's a really long name, though. I think I'll call you Franny. That rolls off the tongue nicer. I assume I can take that cryptic chuckle as an okay.
Only if you wish to be hanged. Call me François. Ceren. Get up, Ceren.
Huh?
I swear, you spend every moment you're not otherwise occupied sleeping.
I love sleeping.
I said get up, you feeble-minded Nimrod.
Oh! You didn't have to hit me. Oh! There are nicer ways to wake up a girl, you know.
Be grateful I only hit you hard enough to wake you. I swear, the church may have to redefine sloth if they ever meet you.
Well, this bed's so comfy though.
You do realize the blood of dozens of women has seeped into every fiber.
Comfy, still comfy though.
Huh. That wouldn't bother you, would it?
So, what's up, Francois? You need me for something?
Yeah. I have a favor to ask of you.
Uh-huh. A favor? Of me? What is it? I'll do anything.
Without even hearing what it is.
It doesn't matter what it is. You say the word, and I'll do it, Francois.
And what if I ask you to take your own life right here?
Just give me the knife.
I should honestly be more used to this by now.
Why wouldn't I do anything for you, Francois? I love you. No one's ever called for me like you before. No one's ever wanted me as much as you. You're happy with me as I am, despite me missing all the most important pieces.
Again, I really shouldn't be so surprised. Fear not, though, I won't be asking you to die today.
Oh, how much harder is it gonna be then? Oh, I hope you don't want me to kill anyone. It would be my first time, and I'm not sure I could pull it off properly.
You're at the bottom of my list of prospective assassins. I doubt you could successfully smother a baby. Although, you could probably cause a great deal of death, I imagine. I would like to make you into a mole.
Oh, so you want me to dig holes?
In a sense. There's been word of an unrest building in the city of late. Money and resources gathered below the table. Murmurings of resistance being organized.
So a bunch of baddies.
Precisely. I want you to go down to the city and try to find as many baddies as you can, then report back to me. Can you do that?
Oh, yeah, I can try.
Excellent. A whorehouse would be the best place for you to start gathering information, I think. All I need you to do is deliver reports. Anything more involved would probably cause that empty head of yours to burst.
I just realized if I go into the city, I won't be able to see you as often, Francois.
Does that displease you?
A whole lot! Oh, I bet this is what being sad feels like. Oh.
In your twisted mind, perhaps so. How about this? I will have a servant act as a regular client of yours. He will pretend to be a well-off merchant. At the regular intervals, he will patronize the brothel, requesting your services and bringing you back to his residence. He'll pay well enough that they won't mind if you're gone for a few days, during which time you can come back to the manor and see me. How does that sound?
Wee! I love it.
Next, we need to discuss how you present yourself. Although you're free to be yourself in my presence, you will need to put up a suitable act down in the city.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. Now I'm getting butterflies. Ooh.
You spent years doing precisely that before you came here.
But I didn't have you counting on me to do a good job of it back then, Francois.
Allow me to offer you a piece of advice then.
Oh, yeah. I'm all ears.
Freely tell others about the misfortunes of your upbringing.
I don't think I had a bad childhood, though.
You may not, but others will. Your parents murdered as you watched. Taken captive by the men who did it. Tell people your story, but don't act overly dejected.
Huh? Oh, why not? Won't people think there is something wrong if I am not sad?
People will think it's more unusual if you get too dramatic because it's so far out of the line with your regular disposition. Good acting is subtle, not overdone.
Ooh,
People will feel great pity for you when they hear of your past. And then they will see your exuberance as a sign you fought and found the strength of will to move past your ill fortune. They will be impressed, taken with you. So you needn't exaggerate your performance. Just give it a little bit of flavor. As long as you don't tell anyone those emotions are beyond your grasp, no one will have any reason to suspect otherwise.
Neato! I'm feeling a lot better about this now.
I expect you won't disappoint me.
Aye, yay, boss. So, hey, Francois.
What is it?
What would you do if, hypothetically speaking, when I go into the city, I learn what sadness and fear feel like? Ooh.
I would kill you, because I would no longer have any interest in you.
Awesome! I am just glad you didn't say you'd kick me out! Every girl dreams of being killed by the man she loves.
No, they do not.
Oh.
You want me to kill you?
If it comes down to it, I guess. Though, really, I'd rather be with you forever. Mwah.
Into the room, Ceren. Now!
Ow! Ow! You're gonna yank my arm off.
I wouldn't have to if you would move. Listen very carefully. You stay in this room until everything has blown over. Do not open the door for anyone.
But, is this what I think it is?
You are only to leave the room if I tell you it's safe, or the manor goes completely silent. And if someone breaks down the door, tell them you're being held captive by the Lord. My predilections are well known amongst the people. No one will suspect you're lying. I must go now. Farewell, Ceren. I rather enjoyed our time together.
Wait! Don't go! I've got an idea, Francois. We could escape through the window there. Yay! Tie up the sheets up into a rope and climb down. Then we can go somewhere far away where nobody will find us.
I do not have that liberty.
Why not?
Because I am the lord of this land. I was born to be the lord. I murdered my own family to keep my claim to this title. And I will not abandon it until my final breath. I was a fool and a tyrant, neither a great leader nor a great man, but I still bear the responsibility of my role. Fleeing is not an option.
I never thought you were a tyrant.
The rest of my lordship would disagree with you. I used fear as a weapon of control, murdering slaves for fun and prioritizing my own desires over the needs and lives of my people. Do you have a better word for what I am? Whereas you grasp the difference between good and evil, but lack the requisite emotions to give those concepts meaning. I knowingly chose to stray from the path of righteousness.
Didn't you say you could run things just fine with fear? That it was very effective.
Indeed. You can run things exceedingly well with fear. Though I never said you could do so forever.
Oh.
I first saw signs that people were turning against me 3 years ago. While I did what I could to crush the seeds of revolt before they grew, it would seem I missed a field.
If you knew this was coming, couldn't you have stopped it?
I've traveled so far down the weak path it would be nigh impossible for me to find my way back into the light. Which means all I could do is continue on and see what awaited me at the end. I could never play the benevolent ruler, though. Those people are inscrutable to me. They all appear to be either ravenous beasts or feeble-minded swine. Were I able to have any love for my own people, perhaps things could have turned out differently.
I can't stay in here and wait, Francois. I want to be with,
You will do as I say, girl! What's gotten into you, Ceren? Death is supposed to be meaningless to you. You do not experience sorrow over loss.
But I...
Should I not come back? Go on smiling. Do not think I will simply let them walk in and kill me. I have dozens of skilled guards, and I can handle a sword myself as well. Far better than any mere peasant.
Oh.
They're getting closer. Now remember, you are not to leave this room, understood? You are my property, and property does not defy the will of its master.
And what if I do come out?
Ceren, you will not be of any help to me out there. And should you obstruct me in any way, I will not hesitate to kill you. You do not have a choice. Is that clear?
Francois!
What? Time is running short.
I love you.
I will always place myself, the Lord Jean-Francois Barnier, above anything else in the world. And you second.
Oh. Wait! Wait a second! That's kind of super crazy, wow, isn't it? Whoa! I'm shaking a bit here. Oh, I've never felt this way before. Oh. Is this what being scared feels like? This is a lot worse than I imagined. It hurts real bad, like someone's sitting in my chest. Oh, I can hardly even breathe right. But it's kind of really wonderful. No, I can't do this. I can't be away from him. Oh.
Jordan, try your old man voice here. Jordan.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
There's a great shame what happened to Ginevra.
The post-revolution merrymaking continued into the wee hours of the morning. After things settled down and men returned to the city, an elderly man calling himself Odilon showed himself before me. Despite his evident age, the man stood tall and spoke in a clear, confident voice. Looking into his deep, sapphire eyes, I felt as though I could see everything that's borne witness to in these walls engraved within them. Odilon revealed himself as an ally at the revolution, as having been in contact with Geneva.
It proceeded as initiated. She was to take cover power and build on systems. But great change is never without its cost. Nevertheless, I am unspeakably grateful for how swiftly you managed to dethrone the former lord. Without your heroic efforts, we would still...
Enough with the ass-kissing. Tell me who you are and exactly what you're hoping to get out of me.
No need to be so apprehensive, I assure you. I am more than happy to tell you everything you wish to know. I served as consul to the late Lord Jean-Francois Barnier, and 'twas I who aided the revolution from within the manor's walls, coordinating with Ginevra on the outside.
So that would make you the one who ordered the gates open for us, then?
Really. Furthermore, I arranged to have a number of the guards turn coat.
Well, you did fine work. Would have lost a lot more men without your efforts. I have to ask, though, where were you while it was actually happening? I don't recall seeing you anywhere.
I took the liberty of finding myself sheltered.
How fortunate for you to be able to kick back and watch, and to cry out your hoe after relieve the lord of his head.
Might you perchance be suggesting this odd bag of bones take up the blade? I would only serve as an impediment to your success. 30 years ago, mayhap, but hardly could I join point the sword straight today. Or perhaps you would say that I, as a supporter of yours, should have been present for the occasion. But of little aid I would have been, merely dying a fool's death, becoming naught but another body upon which the living would trample.
You're skilled with your words, old man.
Of course, 'tis a job. There is only one service I can provide you with: my knowledge.
Knowledge. Meaning you intend to continue to serve as the Lord's consul?
Would I lend my hand to this revolution?
You expect me to just take your word? To trust you?
Surely you are aware that you cannot rightfully govern this territory without the acknowledgement of the neighboring accounts and the king. I have knowledge and connections which would prove invaluable in establishing you as a legitimate and qualified to inherit the throne.
Yes, I know. I did not saunter into here blind. I still had to figure out how I would accomplish that, but... Wait. I recognize you from somewhere. I remember. You were here during the revolt 3 years ago. You're the one who helped Barnier escape.
Was indeed I.
Saw no more reason not to trust you. You sat back and watch. Not a damn peep as that clown of a lord left his people to rot. Like hell I'm letting you be my consul.
You are an astute young man, but still far too green for your own good. And you fail to fully separate yourself from your old life.
Excuse me?
I assure you, I was no more fond of Lord Barnier's predilections than you. But as I am sure you are aware, he was quick to send his opponents off to the gallows. And he would be no more merciful to his counsel than a slum dweller. My objections would have ensured but one thing: a swift, meaningless death. Moreover, you knew it was not yet the time, and stayed your hand. Nay, I too had reached the same conclusion, and was awaiting the appropriate time. The perfect time to rearrange the board.
Gah.
You must dispense of the childish emotion that controls you. Act exclusively in service of that which most benefits you. And you cannot do so without someone to guide you. You are still merely a fledgling, young man. You know not up from down in this vast new world. And you have neither an army nor the weapons with which to defend yourself. Should you go out into the world unaccompanied, it will snap your neck before you feel the hands upon your skin.
And what benefits are you hoping to reap from this? You're not acting out of love for the people. That much is obvious.
It's to fulfill my duties as consul to the Lord. My expertise went largely unused under Lord Barnier's rule. It was a deeply frustrating time for me. Now, if I may be blunt, perhaps I should say that I would like to die knowing I accomplished something worthwhile with my life. I can promise you, I have no intention of mistreating the people for my own personal amusement.
Still giving me no reason to actually trust you.
Allow my work to speak for my words. Allow me to proffer unto you my knowledge that it might be of service to you.
I don't completely trust this man, nor do I think I ever will. He's after something. Probably wants to use me as a puppet under the disguise of assisting me as my consul. Makes a good point, though. I'll need someone to show me the ropes if I want any chance of governing effectively.
You come to a decision.
Okay. It's a pleasure to have you, Odilon.
At your service.
That said, try anything and be out the door faster than you can blink.
Understood.
Good.
Now, if I may, I would like to offer first instruction.
And what would that be?
You will need to make a formal proclamation of your succession. There are still many among your people who know not who you are. Thus, you must declare yourself the rightful heir, the lost son of Lord Barnier's predecessor. You must assume a new name.
Say again.
The name by which you were known before is but a veil behind which you guarded your noble identity. And the time has come now for you to reclaim your true self.
Hold on a second. I'm not...
Yes, I am aware of your lineage.
Okay, then what name do you suppose I should take?
You shall assume his name. Jean-Francois Barnier.
Is this some kind of sick joke? You're insane you think I'm taking on that psychopathic killer's name. Why on this green earth would I ever want to call myself after the man I dethroned?
Among the nobility, names are passed from father to son, from brother to brother.
But why his name? A name associated with fear and tyranny. Are you trying to hobble me before I take my first step?
You will remove the stain his deeds put on the name. Lord Barnier killed his brothers and all their families and attendants, as Ginevra rightly told you. Why do you suppose he killed them?
Are you mocking me, old man? He killed him because he was a damn madman.
Lord Barnier was not the rightful heir.
Excuse me?
He was merely a stand-in to be disposed of and quietly replaced when came time. However, he grew voracious for power fixated on becoming the Lord himself. So he killed everyone who stood in his way, both the Barnier family and the attendants who knew the truth. Though he failed to realize that the Lord had sired another son. You, the rightful inheritor of the Jean-Francois Barnier name.
So, that's the story, huh? I'm not the fake. He was.
When the truth is revealed, the people will be enraptured, and crucially, the damage to the Barnier family name will be minimized. After all, the Barniers were but victims of this charlatan's avarice. As you are to take on the Barnier family name, it is your benefit that the reputation you inherit is as unblemished as possible. Say something more than dots. Furthermore, you have nothing to gain from keeping your present name. No longer are you the man you were in the slums. You must become a new man entirely.
Enough. I need time to think. A day. Give me just one.
I cannot. 'Tis a matter of the utmost importance. You must act swiftly, for the opportunity will pass, and the tides turn against you enough. The people are on your side for now. However, should you fail to expeditiously demonstrate that you, as their new lord, are likewise on their side, you will find yourself with more than the countless upon your doorstep. You must decide now. Sir.
Alright. I'll swallow my pride. There need to be some changes before I embark on this road. So this isn't unexpected. Just moving quicker than I was prepared for.
Wise decision. Now, before we move on to the next order of business, I must ask, are you physically well enough to remain on your feet for a short while longer? You will need to stand before your people and make a speech. Nevertheless, it is evident that you are wounded from your battle, and it would reflect poorly on your accomplishments were you to collapse during your first appearance.
I'll be fine. I can hold myself up long enough to give a speech.
Oh, youth, what a wonderful thing. You must be sure to get your rest once you have finished. I will arrange for the best doctor to come examine you.
Appreciated.
Now then, let us be off. You need merely repeat to me.
Avalon.
Hey! Did you hear the new Lord's speech? Barnier was a fraud this entire time!
What? No way! Big God, I should have skipped work and gone up to the manor to see it.
You still got a chance! Go down to the square! The town scryer is spreading the word of the word of the whole thing!
Natalie.
Did you hear? The new lord led the charge on the revolution. And he was the real Jean-Francois Barnier.
Nika.
I heard. I was there for his speech. He's so young.
Nelly.
And easy on the eyes to boot. They say he spent years living in the slums, hiding his true identity. That must have been so difficult for him.
Song last, we're free from our suffering. Free from the terror, Lord Barnier. Cheers for the new lord. Nika, voice Maria. Use your Reina OA voice.
Okay. Oh, give me a break. You're no damn lord.
How goes it, Maria? You look like you haven't slept in weeks.
Ah,
Where's your smile, Gale? Today's a day for celebrating.
oh, go fuck yourself.
Oh,
You're the one who pushed him into this.
huh. What are you getting all pissy about?
You pressured him into the dumbass revolution. Into becoming the fucking lord.
Oh, that ain't what happened at all. Jacopo's the one who proposed the whole thing.
Bullshit. He was trying to talk sense into you at the Midsummer Festival.
Yeah, fed a lot of cripes, crawled up your ass and died. The batshit asshole's gone, and now you got someone on our side and what's there to complain about?
Ugh. Is there anything that meant head of yours?
What was that?
Ugh. You do realize he can never come back now, right? He is the Lord. Ugh. He's gone, and he's gone for good. Up there in that manor, all by himself. And you dragged him up there to the top of that hill and led him there.
I get that you want someone to take this out on, but Jacopo's also the one who proposed becoming the Lord.
No.
I didn't push a damn thing on him. He showed up one day with a ring bearing the Barnier family crest. Then told everyone he was royalty and had a claim to the throne.
This is insane.
It was his words that sparked the revolution.
There is no way. Jacopo is royalty. You need to get a better sense of humor.
My thoughts exactly at first too, but then I saw the crest on the ring. It's the real deal. Did you miss the whole part when he put on the ring in front of everyone before we stormed the manor? His whole spiel about being the heir. That was pretty damn convincing, if I do say so myself.
You seriously think I was there for some stupid pep talk?
Ain't you his friend? I feel like a friend should be rooting for his success, you know? that's what I'm doing. I can say that much. Anyway, I got a hot date with a couple of kegs, so I'm out of here.
Ugh.
Unless you want to come with. We're gonna be partying all night long.
Like hell, I'm coming.
Just thought I'd ask. Try not to look so sour all the time, Kay. You're much prettier when you're smiling.
Ugh. Choke on that dick, you asshole!
Duly noted. Later.
God. I can't root for him because he's my friend. I know better than anyone that he is in over his head. Ugh. All I can do is pray for you, Jacobo. Pray that you'll always be the Jacobo we know. That this won't change you. We're still friends, right? Even if we're worlds apart now.
After giving me just enough time to recover, Odilon quickly got to work, instructing me in everything I need to know to be a lord. My first priority was to revitalize the city, clean up the mess that my predecessor had left it in. As much as I wanted to ensure that everyone had food and water, it still wasn't possible to make it happen overnight. We need to significantly expand our farmland, build additional granaries, repair existing irrigation canals, not to mention crack down on crime and disorder. There's so much to do, it was almost dizzying, but the last thing I had time to do was whine. That said, none of it could happen with a snap of fingers. It would take time and manpower, which meant we would have to use existing stores in the meantime. Yeah, I asked the people, particularly among the upper class, to relinquish ownership of their stockpiles for me to redistribute among the population. To allow everyone to make it through the transitional period, I figured. Naturally, though, not everyone was happy with the arrangement. But the cries of dissatisfaction was drowned out by cheers of support when I explained that it was for everyone's sake. There would need to band together to carry the whole city through what would be a rocky transition. I was patting myself on the back for a job well done. Odilon shook his head and said, "To a whole year at most." Enough stores to last at least 3 years, though. 2, we want to be extra safe.
It will set your men ablaze long before the stores.
Excuse me? Why would they? I'm obviously doing everything in my power to revitalize the city. I was the one who freed them from the claws of that tyrant.
The people see only the results. Now they accept your promises of improvement now, if in a year's time they do not see those words bear fruit. Their trust in you will wither away. That you came from the slums is viewed now as a heroic rise to power, but your past will soon be turned against you, used to delegitimize you. You must produce for them tangible results.
God, I knew this wouldn't be easy, but still. It boils my blood to think my predecessor sat around on his ass all day. Did he even accomplish anything in his entire time as the Lord?
I can think of only one truly positive effect of his regime. His support for the arts.
His what?
Surely you have seen the numerous pieces of art adorning this manor's walls. He would often treat himself with works from the finest artists and artisans in the land.
Oh, you mean all those paintings and vases and fancy drapes? Bunch of worthless junk, every last bit of it. None of it would do anything to fill up people's empty stomachs.
It would seem you understand not the value of art.
Well, I did grow up in slums.
Do you know what purpose art serves?
To make you feel better. It's nice to have around, but not much more than that.
Bribes, my boy. Those who hunger for power similarly hunger for ways to flaunt it, and the singularity of a piece of art fills that role. Some have a genuine appreciation for art, others merely use it as a tool. But nonetheless, skilled craftsmen, artists, and their work naturally gravitate toward those with power. It would be wise for you to consider dressing somewhat less pedestrian soon. Now, we should be able to put the former Lord's possession to good use in helping you build up valuable relationships.
You mean start handing out bribes?
Indeed, but remember, they are negotiation tools. You must use them where they provide you the greatest returns.
Negotiations. Huh. Alright. I think I see what you're getting at. We want to revitalize the city in a year. I'm going to need help from my good neighbors. In exchange for provisions and workers, offer the various counts and pieces from Barnier's collection. Sound about right?
Precisely. My, you are much cleverer than I would expect of a man from the slums. Now, if only you would become accustomed to this manner of thinking, you could become a fine leader in short order.
I appreciate the concern, old man.
I will dispatch messengers and arrange meetings with the Count so we can begin anon. And I hope I do not have to remind you, but you will need to be very careful with your words, Lord Barnier.
Yeah, I know.
You seem quite tired, Lord Barnier.
You think? Every day I have to go meet with someone new and spend all my travel time learning how to read and write. It's enough to exhaust anyone.
As necessary nonetheless. Illiteracy will only...
Yes, I know. You say I look tired and I'm telling you why that is. I never said I had a problem with it.
I overstepped. My apologies. Your diligence has been invaluable in earning Count's favor, Lord Barnier. They think quite fondly of you.
Is that so? Because that's certainly not the impression I'm getting. They put a facade of friendliness, but beneath the surface, they're all laughing, trying to figure out how to best use me, or just outright scoffing. Not one of them sincerely trusts me. I'm just a pawn to them.
We are all pieces on one another's boards.
What's that supposed to mean?
Would be most prudent taken to consider that unqualified friendship simply does not exist in my society. All interpersonal relationships are built upon a foundation of mutual benefit, save for exceedingly rare, short-lived exceptions. Nonetheless, you should not consider being used as a... We all climb atop each other's boards, offering ourselves up as a powerful piece. And so do they offer themselves to us. Should you wish to survive in society, you must always ensure your peers see you as a piece worth playing.
That would mean you're putting yourself out there as well, old man.
Indeed, I am your pawn, Lord. I offer myself to you, and in your using me, I gain this position as consul to the Lord. There's a far more practical and reliable system than one founded on something so uncertain as emotion, would you not say?
Which is to say, I'm a pawn to him as much as he is to me. I suppose so. Then I too have to ensure I remain useful, lest be swept aside and another Barnier brought in to take my place.
Sharp. But worry not, for I have no qualms with your performance at present. Now, Lord Barnier, we must discuss your next.
Hold on a sec, would you?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind not calling me Lord Barnier in private? I can understand why you want to keep up a charade, even when no one's looking. But frankly, I'm just not comfortable with it.
Very well. Then, my lord, it shall be.
See, I'm surprised when you use my real name. But still. Yeah, that would do. Thank you.
Not at all. Now, back to business, my lord.
Took long enough, but we're finally starting to see some real progress. Who knew negotiation was so much work?
I do. You should be proud of your accomplishments, my lord. 'Tis hardly an easy feat to amass that much manpower and resources in only 6 months.
Doing better than expected, huh? How's public opinion looking? Reports should be coming in by now, I assume.
Some dissatisfaction, but numbers are within expectations.
Dissatisfied? With what? I spent every waking moment these past 6 months working my ass off to revitalize the city, and people aren't happy with that? They should be jumping with joy.
My lord, you must understand that it is impossible to satisfy everyone. A degree of discontent is to be expected.
Even so, it should be bluntly obvious how much better I'm doing than that previous basket of rainbows and kittens.
All is forgotten on the gentle ebb and flow of time. Past injustices matter little in the face of the present.
Hasn't even been a year.
The people do not genuinely care about you, nor will they ever. They may sing your praises one day and forget about you the next. I believe we have been through this before.
Surely there's someone out there who gets it.
That is wishful thinking, my lord. You could work yourself to your very bones, and the people would merely see you as fulfilling your duty. You must not seek their approval. More will be expected of you, and more will you be the subject of undeserved resentment, for the simple reason that you exist in a position of power. Only those in a similar position can understand your hardships. Ultimately, then, you have two choices. Either dedicate yourself in service of your people, or mercilessly exploit them like your predecessor.
Won't follow that bastard's footsteps.
I pray your heart remains true. That you remain a wise and caring lord.
Damn it. So what specifically aren't people happy about?
The foremost is food shortages. This was anticipated, and all we can do is ask them to persevere. The second comes from the upper class.
Go on.
They are, quite naturally, displeased about being made to surrender their stocks. It would be prudent to offer them remuneration in the near future.
They're doing very well for themselves already.
My lord,
I know, just letting off some steam. So get to butter up all the rich men in town. Wonderful. The whole idea was to help the less well off, yet here I am.
I understand that you are not pleased about this, my lord, but do remember that you have more to fear from a few of the upper class banding together than the entirety of the slums. For they wield a most troublesome weapon, an upper class upbringing. They know precisely who to tell and what to tell about you to tarnish your reputation in the blink of an eye. And do not placate yourself by thinking the common man will see through the attempts to undermine you. Even if they did, an unlikely supposition, they could do nothing to counter it. They are powerless.
It was the people at the bottom who pulled most of the weight organizing and executing the revolution.
It was an exceptional set of circumstances that allowed the revolution to take place as it did, not the least of which was the Lord's status as an unequivocally evil in the eyes of the people. You will not find them all agreeing on anything so readily.
Alright, I get it. The point is, I gotta win over all the rich people or my whole operation's gonna come to Gratien halt, right? So as much as it rubs me the wrong way, I'll do what I have to do.
A wise decision, my lord.
Is that the last of the complaints?
No. The influx of immigrants has caused an increase in general unrest.
Of course it has. I'll bring them in to help with their restoration effort. They go and cause their own new set of problems. It's like I'm chasing my tail here.
So long as there are people under your authority, neither will be completely free of strife.
You're telling me. So would increasing the guards present in the city help keep the peace?
Most of those with the training necessary are already deployed, meaning you would need to have new guards trained from the ground. You will have to mobilize them where they are most needed.
In other words,
Tighten your grip on the slums.
it's not gotta take away their freedom.
I know you have a personal attachment to that area, but you must cast that aside. No longer are you the man you once were. The slums should have never been allowed to fall into such lawlessness in the first place. You will merely be restoring it to its proper state. If you truly wish to bring prosperity to this land, you must eventually scale down and then eliminate the slums.
But if I get rid of slums, I'll be getting rid of their home.
My lord,
I know. I understand what you're getting at. I understand that everything you're saying is perfectly logical. Can we hold off on that for a bit? A bunch of guys down there formed this peacekeeper group to, keep the peace. They'd gladly help out if we could talk to them, I'm sure. We can scale up our patrols, but no stepping on their toes. Got it?
as you command, my lord.
Hard to believe it's been a whole year. Feels like I only just started yesterday, yet also like I've been doing this forever.
You are looking somewhat worse for wear, my lord.
Do I? Who am I kidding? You're right. On the other hand, you don't look like you even lost an hour of sleep this entire year. Goes to show how inexperienced I really am.
While it is true that I have been in this position for many years, I also do not bear nearly as much responsibility as you. I merely stand in the background and use all pieces of advice. All the while you face the crowds directly, negotiate with counts, make dozens of difficult decisions. If there's one thing I've learned in all my years, it is that I could never begin to imagine the weight a ruler must carry. Never mind one who was never raised to take the throne and thrust themselves into the labyrinth of politics and high society. It would be a greater surprise if the trends had not taken their toll.
That reminds me. Barnier was Lord for a full decade before they took him out, wasn't he? And as I recall, he was as much of a dead spot early on. If just 1 year has taken this much out of me, how much longer before I'm no longer able to act like a reasonable human being? No, don't think like that, Jacobo. Actually, forget it. What matters is that we seem to be doing a great job minimizing discontent.
Indeed, you have successfully made it through the first year. The city is decidedly more presentable than it was when you took the throne. There are precious few who could replicate your accomplishments in such a short time, my lord. You would do well to take pride in your
Pushing to do everything so quickly has taken its toll. The people weren't thin, slaves are dying by the droves. Still have ways to go before there's anything to be proud of.
slaves are the tools of progress. Tools do not last forever and must be replaced regularly.
You can't build a house with your bare hands, I get it.
You learn quickly.
Not even a year ago, I went up in arms about the number of slaves dying. But now, they're just numbers to me. Apparently, my worldview has changed quite a bit.
It is about time we started considering this step.
Meaning?
Meaning your efforts thus far have been merely been toward repairing the damage caused by your predecessor.
You make it sound like all this has just been a warm-up.
My apologies. I do not mean to discount your great efforts. I was simply speaking of the grander scheme.
Yeah, I get that. Want to settle in a direction for how to grow the city, right?
Indeed. The status quo is vastly inadequate for bringing prosperity to this. And there is no saying when the surrounding territories may cease being so friendly. And set their eyes upon conquering us. But of course, you cannot keep your eyes trained outward in fear of attack and allow the land to devour itself from the inside either.
So what you're saying is, it's a balancing act.
Precisely.
So, what kind of advancements do I want to pursue? There is something that's been on my mind. This land is ill-suited to growing crops. When I lived down in slums, I had no perspective and figured that what we produced here was no different than anywhere else. But now I know better. The grapes used for our wine are miserable compared to what had been served elsewhere, as is nearly everything else we grow. I can only assume the land itself is to blame.
Oh, ho, the wine from the south was indeed exceptional. You quite nearly gave me when you leapt from your chair in the middle of a meeting. Shouting this is nothing like don't.
Enough, that never happened. This is my first time tasting anything like it, alright? I don't want to have had the same reaction.
You have grown much, but nevertheless, you are still quite green.
God, I really need to wash myself around this man.
In any case, 'twould be ideal if we could begin producing higher quality grapes, not necessarily to compete with us, but enough to be serviceable. Efforts to improve the land will, although it could take some time before we see the progress. Have you any propositions?
Actually, I was just thinking it might be best to cut down back on agriculture.
Do elaborate.
What if we were to build a city up into a trade hub of sorts?
Meaning you wish to open our gates to our neighbors?
Exactly. One thing the city has going for is its wealth of artisans. But for years we only ever export our goods. I want to bring people here to purchase. Reduce taxes for merchants and give them special privileges. Set tariffs and border taxes lower than they are in the capital. And business would naturally find its way here. This land may be less than optimal for farming, but it's more than adequate for trade. Really convenient location to serve as a hub for the surrounding realms. Rather than close the borders and wall ourselves off entirely, open up a market, making ourselves of value to our neighbors is far more likely to dissuade potential invasion. while pieces on one another's boards. Isn't that right? Who said that can't be applied to the entire city? The best way to explain without stepping on anyone's toes is to do so in a way that benefits them as well as us. What do you think?
A rather aggressive strategy you propose, my lord. If I may be so bold. There may be many obstacles to this plan's success. You will need to arrange meetings with the head of each realm you intend to invade, the order and timing of which will be crucial to its success. Furthermore, the influx of outsiders will be a source of much tension among your people.
So you think I'm aiming too high?
You are indeed aiming exceedingly high. Your obstacles will be numerous and precipitous. Nonetheless, obstacles can be overcome. Your exhaustion is nothing compared to the weariness that awaits you down this path. Do be well aware of this, my lord.
You're damn right I am. If I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna go all in.